Takopi's original sin is about this cute little pink octopus guy who comes to a town with the express purpose from outer space, because he's an alien, to make the people happy. And so he meets this little girl named Shizuka, who is getting bullied and neglected, and her dad left her for another family. And so he goes out of his way to try and make Shizuka happy, and then the story goes somewhere. It escalates very quickly to the point where episode 2, the ending was genuinely surprising to me. I was shocked. I will also have to say, though, that I don't necessarily like where the story went, because I found myself, admittedly, I felt like I was sort of resisting the concept of the show from the beginning. But after episode 2, as surprised as I was like, oh my god. The thing is, I felt that it was also sort of what started killing any interest I had in this. I do want to be clear. Takopi's Original Sin is by no means a bad show. This is definitely one of those instances where the show is performing what it is trying to do. It is more that I myself just did not enjoy what it was trying to do. I think its execution was fine. I think the ending's weak, which we probably will touch on, but I think the show outside of that is strong enough. My primary issue, I think, with Takopi's Original Sin is that everyone in this character is fucking terrible. And I'm going to be very clear. Shizuka is probably the worst one out of anyone in the entire show. She is an actual monster. But that doesn't mean that any of the other characters are necessarily good people. The bully, Marina, is sort of like a fucking bully, and she's somehow better than the attempted serial killer. But all of the kids suck. They're terrible. All of the kids are terrible. All of the adults in their life are terrible. I would argue that the police are just doing their job, but none of the police have any names. Takopii is a character who does a lot of bad stuff. One might even say Takopii probably does the worst stuff in the entire show, but as this cute little innocent alien guy who has no concept of morality, I am more willing to give him a pass than everyone else in the show who knows what they are doing is wrong. Like, the children, specifically, understand the consequences of their actions. So you can't justify and be like, oh, they're just kids. They are not just kids. They know what they're doing. There is genuine malice behind these actions. Whereas Takopii has no fucking clue what he's doing. The only other character I would say in this who's actually probably a good person is the, like, young nerd boy's brother, Junya. Junya seems cool. He seems chill. He seems like a good brother. He is the one that does probably the least wrong in the entire show. Again, outside of the cops who are just doing their jobs. And he is probably the best person in the entire thing overall. Not my favorite character, which is probably still Takopii because he's so fucking cute. But as the show went on, I sort of found myself kind of only caring about Takopii, which is not great. And I do want to say that all of the characters being awful people is actually sort of the point of the show, which is why I can't necessarily fault it. One of the messages of the show is that everyone has good and bad elements. And one of my major things that I did not like about the show is they went way too far with the bad elements of most characters to the fact where everyone was basically unlikable. But again, this is sort of part of the point, because another important part about Takopi's is sort of cycles of abuse and how, you know, like the parents being abusive to their kids turns into shit kids and how hurt people, all that kind of stuff. So not only is it understandable why all of the characters in this suck, but actually making them not all suck would actually take away from and detract from the story itself, which is why I can't fault the execution of the show, but I can say I definitely did not enjoy it in any conceivable manner. I will also say I do think the ending's really weak, and this is your lead-in to jump out because I do want to talk about it, because the thing about the ending is nothing was solved. I understand that, like, Shizuka and Marina sort of make up, which was sort of the goal of Takopii from the beginning. So mission accomplished on that. The premise set up in episode 1 is done. But realistically, nothing has changed. Marina still has a scar on her face, which shows that she's still getting abused by her mother. And considering this was all led into with, like, we find out, like, the central concept of this was that Marina, like, kills her mother and then commits suicide. There is no way this situation isn't just going to happen again. Like, because Takopii doesn't do anything to fix the situation with Marina's mother. Even if Shizuka gets over her, like, traumatic childhood, Marina's still going to end up in the exact same situation that started this entire thing, and Takopi's fucking dead now. So it does feel like the ending was like, see, we wrapped it in a nice bow, and it's like, no, you fucking didn't. You've solved basically no problems. You've saved the central thesis of having these two characters make up, but you're still gonna end up with a fucking Marina corpse, is the fucking thing. And Shizuka is the most unhinged little shithead ever, and she's probably still gonna kill herself. This solved nothing. The show solved nothing. So I am gonna say that I do think that Takopi's Original Sin is a totally decent show that accomplishes what it wants, and my major issues with it are my own problems because I don't like the story it's trying to tell. I'm gonna hold that the ending is fucking shit. The ending of the show fucking sucks. But still, even that is still going through the lens of the fact that, like, even with a terrible ending, I've given passes to shows with even worse endings. So really, my issue with Takopi's Original Sin is I just don't fucking like it. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope. Bye-bye.